How you guys doing?
Great.
All right, you look great. All right.
Yeah.
Give yourselves a hand, sure. Thanks, Charlie. I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, or officially at least. So,
Get off the stage! Not yet.
well, I don't know, those of you who know me know that I love Jim Carrey, so I'm going to go ahead and start with a few impressions just to get used to being up here by the mic and stuff. So, alright, this is Jim Carrey from a series of unfortunate events. Intrude! Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my lovely home. May you find solace in the womb-like warmth of its downy plume. Or as the ancient Egyptians would say, Orphanos incredibus. Something, something, something. Music builds to a crescendo, ending on the right foot, and strike a posse. Not exactly what I was going for, but you get the idea. Alright, that's that one. I'm going to do one more. This is Gru from Despicable Me.
Alright. Yeah!
Your dog has been dropping little bombs all over my yard again, and I do not appreciate it. Oh, well, you know dogs, they go where they will. Unless they're dead. I'm just kidding, Frank. Although, it is true. Okay. Anyways, so a while ago I was driving along my car. Sarah was with me. She was driving along, and not sure why people do this when they drive. If your driver ever does that when driving, just get out of the car as soon as you can. Unless they're on like Arkansas roads, then it's normal. More on that later. All right. Anyways, Sarah was like, turns to me and she's like, you know what, Seth? You are one of the scariest drivers I know. And I was like, what? Me? I'm not. Okay. Kind of like when you're younger, you find yourself defending what you're doing while even though sometimes you don't really know how. Like, I don't know if this happened with you guys, but this used to happen in our house a lot when we were little kids. So it'd be like eating a meal, sitting around, eating dessert maybe, halfway done with the cake, and I'd be slowing down, because, it's a lot of food for a little kid to eat. And then, eating slower and slower. Then some loud troublemaker from across the table would be like, hey, Seth, you're getting full, aren't you? For some reason, that was unacceptable. What? I'm not, you're full. I'm not full, you're full. I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna eat the whole cake. That's how not full I am. More or less that went down. So anyways, yeah. So I was like, I'm not a bad driver. I'm not scary, but the more I thought about it, I guess it's been kind of lots of interesting moments when I was driving, and I guess to be fair, I guess a lot of you guys, you grew up and you were like, I was watching your parents, whoever drive, like, oh, that's okay, that's good, yeah, all right, that makes sense. But I was born Amish, and much of my childhood I was Amish, so we didn't really, it's more like just follow the horse, whatever. I don't like to guide there. But we used to have toys, like, cars and trucks. Those were a lot of fun to play with. And but we weren't exactly the family that had all the nice, shiny new cars and trucks. More like, you're lucky if there's 4 wheels on the truck. Well, just 3 wheels. That's called the 3-wheeler. That's normal. 2 wheels. It's called the truck bicycle. People use this all the time. So, you're driving, playing like, oh, okay, so it's curved. All right, you don't necessarily go in a straight line with the vehicle. All right. Yeah. Anyways, we used to didn't have a lot of things to do when you're Amish. You play with that, play with dirt sometimes. I remember, I'm not making this up. I remember me and my older brother sitting in the garden. We'd be like, sitting there eating dirt. Like, think of it now. You think that they were just pulling my leg, but they were eating dirt too. And they'd be like, they used to tell me, eating a little dirt is good for you, Seth. So, Eat some dirt. Oh, yeah, tastes earthy. All right. What are you doing there, Seth? Oh, I'm just eating dirt. Me too. Anyways. So back to driving. I didn't exactly have the best example either later, I guess. When we moved to Missouri around 7th grade, and, no, sorry, that was actually 3rd grade. We moved out here when I was in 7th grade, anyways. And we used to carpool with some other people, and Dad, David, he was a pretty wild driver. There's this one, most of the roads around there were gravel roads, so that's not something you want to get too fast down, but anyways. Then there's one hill, it wasn't like terribly tall, but it was like really steep, so we used to cruise over that, so we'd literally go over like 80 miles per hour a lot of the time. And it was fun, it was a lot of fun, because you'd like, oh yeah. Get some air, and well, sir, this is your song stuff. I hope you know it's really needed. Anyways, there you go. Thank you. Anyway, so we used to go over the hill, but if you timed it right, you could, you'd watch out the windshield, and then like just when the hill disappeared, then like wait a split second, then you would jump a little bit. Then you would like, it would be awesome because you like the van would go over, you'd like kind of flow like for a long time. It was awesome. We didn't wear seatbelts either. So, but if you did it wrong, if you did it the wrong time, you'd be like, okay. Ah! Smash your head on the ceiling. But, you got pretty good at it after a while. Another thing I remember with our old minivan, one creative thing we did back in, this was probably the first or second year I was ever hunting. I used to hunt, yeah. And me and my dad were, all right, we got some supporters. Me and my dad were kind of crouched behind a bale, like watching a deer. I don't remember why, but we couldn't like shoot. I think I was kind of hiding behind the other end of the bale, so it like wouldn't come out. Okay, that's good. Wouldn't come out. So finally, Dad's getting impatient. It's almost dark. He's like, yeah, okay, Seth, I'm just gonna go around the other way and just kind of chase the deer out a little bit. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds normal. All right, so 10 minutes later, I see the van coming from behind. Keeps getting closer and closer. Finally, the deer's looking. I'm like, okay, all right. Keeps on eating, and then van keeps getting closer, turns the corners. So I'm like right here, like 20 yards on this side is the deer. 20 yards farther is the van. Like all were lined up, so I couldn't shoot. But Dad apparently didn't get that. He's like, well, why is he not shooting? Like, does he not see this? So he's like, okay, what can I do to get his attention? So first he flashed the lights, and deer's like, oh, what? This doesn't seem normal. Their tails and they're nervous. I don't know. So, anyways, then. I was still going to shoot because it was still lined up with the van. That would seem like a bad idea. And so Dad's like, okay, well, we got to get this thing going, I was like, okay, well, okay. So it's like, honk, honk. And Derek's like, yeah, I'm like, and it was out in the open and I ended up getting it, but anyways. There are lots of creative uses for vehicles besides just getting you from place to place. One of my first experiences driving, this was back in Brookfield too, in Missouri, and I was just slowly cruising down the road, and one of the other families in the church had some elk, high fences, these elk. Every now and then you could see the big bull with awesome antlers. So anyways, it's just a little distracting when you're driving. So I was like just driving along, and okay, where's that? All of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, okay, this doesn't seem normal. And so I looked around, and I was kind of like in the ditch. It's like, okay, so I just hopped out and sit on the road. The worst part of it was I wasn't even driving a car. I was driving a skid loader. It wasn't one of those fancy skid loaders with like a fast skid. It was literally like high speed. It was like, so that was kind of tough to explain. Others were a few miles behind me. They came up and I was like standing there, I'm like, what happened, Seth? Well, yes, I'm fine, thanks. That's the important part. Yeah, it's just I was paying attention, and it all happened so fast, I don't know. Anyways. I do love to drive, though. It's a lot of fun. I know a lot of people like to fly. Anyone like to fly here? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't really, and I'll tell you why. Thanks for asking. Actually, I've flown a bunch of times when it was a lot of fun, and it's awesome being up there and like looking down at the land way down there, sunsets and such too. But I got my car about 2 years ago, and I got it on eBay, and it was in Florida, so I was like, hey, free vacation to Florida, why not? So I flew down to get it, and then drove it back up. And my flight down, I flew down to Houston or something, then over to Fort Lauderdale. So I was all excited about this. I got my tickets and got window seats because hey, look at that. And I got on a plane in Wichita, and there's barely anyone on the plane. And it was a lot of fun, There's no one else in my seat beside me, and I was just chilling there with my Coke in the plastic cup, man, this is life, I could do this. And then I got to Houston, and then it was a bigger plane to Fort Lauderdale. It was 3 seats on each side of the aisle. So I get on, I'm like, okay, 24F, all right. Oh. And there's a giant guy sitting there in my window seat. And he had earbuds on. He was didn't have his eyes closed, but he just kind of looking off at the side. He had his window shut. Who would do that? And so I was like, okay. This is your seat, Seth. You got this. Sir, nope. You got this, Seth. You can do this.
Pump it up.
Yeah, up. Hey, sit up now. Why are there no stewardesses here? A muscular stewardess who can manhandle pounds if necessary. Push comes to shove. So I was like, well, fine.
We need a bouncer.
I know, right? It's fine. I'll just sit in the middle seat. There's this on this side. There's just a happy-looking Spanish woman. So I was excuse me. She had to kind of move away. And she's Jimmy. See, all right. That's about as far as our conversation goes. So I got in there and I sat down. And so, fun fact: although there's 3 seats and 6 arms, there's only enough armrests for 4 arms. So apparently, not everyone knows that. And I guess apparently the first people to get there get the armrests. So they both had their armrests, and I'm so basically the whole trip I'm sitting there like this. I didn't even have the foresight to take earbuds or anything, so I didn't have anything to entertain myself. So I looked at the in-flight magazine or whatever. Kind of a long trip. Anyways. But I made it there, got my car, was happy to drive home. I've never gotten a ticket driving. I have gotten stopped 2 times, both times in Arkansas, both times for drunk driving. First of all,
seriously?
Yes, that's what I got stopped for.
Drunk driving.
And, I'll explain a little bit. Around here, we have roads that I would call waffle roads, where it's okay, they're straight and they make sense. And then there's spaghetti roads, this is the road. Sorry. Got a little carried away in the official Arkansas state dance there. Anyways, that's the road. And apparently, just because the road winds like that doesn't mean that it has to be wider. So it's driving along this little country road, or a blacktop. It's 6 inches on each side of the vehicle on the lane. And this cop stops me and he comes up and he's like, sir, have you been drinking? No. Well, I've been following you a few miles and I noticed you've been crowding the yellow line. Did you notice I was crowding the other line at the same time? Didn't say that, but that's what he's like, okay, I'm gonna need to give you a field sobriety test so you just step out of the vehicle. And I was like, okay, I'll have to blow on the stick or whatever. He's like, okay, I'm gonna need you to do 3 things. All right, first of all, just walk along the line, put one foot right in front of the other. It's like, okay, I think I can do that. Try manage. I was like, okay, this isn't gonna be hard. Then he's like, okay, second, I'm gonna need you to say the alphabet backwards. Just start from Z. But I always learned it frontwards. So I started Z, Y, X, Z. No. X. No, I'm start over. Okay. So, I don't know if you ever tried to say the alphabet backwards in a high-pressure situation. Finally, I don't know, I kind of stumbled around for a while. I was like, okay, all right, let's go into the 3rd thing here. I'm going to need you to just balance on one foot, okay? And imagine this is like a big guy, okay? I couldn't help thinking at the time that if he would have fell over, he would have rolled to the bottom of the ditch. And yeah, I guess he himself had spent a little too much time crowding the line at the donut shop. Okay. All right. So anyways, he's like, okay, so just balance on one leg, just like this. So we're secure. So just gonna need you to stand on one leg like that, and if you would happen to fall, like lose your balance, that's totally fine. You just start over. So, I managed to pass that, didn't get a ticket. Okay, sometimes, I have to admit, sometimes when I'm driving, I don't really think things through all that well. One time at kids, I have a route at kids' church, drive some kids every week, and the one time I was driving along, I don't know what I was doing, something I needed 2 hands, like getting a CD or something, I don't know. So I just put my knee up to hold the wheel while I did that. Everyone does that, right? So, anyways, and then Devon, the guy's just like, oh, your car drives itself! And I was like, what? Yours doesn't? Then I started getting into it. I'm like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have to be here. Like I could just take a nap right now. So I closed my one eye, so put that on the one side of me so it looks like my eyes are closed. So I'm sitting there driving. They're like, wow, that's so cool. And every now and then, they're like, okay, yeah, can you put your car on autopilot again? And nothing bad happened there, but that could have been a little awkward. So Seth, your kids tell me you drive without your hands. Well, and with your eyes shut. But yeah, that didn't ever happen. So, anyways, I've done some kind of dumb things driving, but there are a few things I have not done while driving, which I'm proud of. I did not, for example, back up on top of a mailbox in front of a horrified bystander. I was a bystander, I won't tell you who the person was. It's like, rearing the cars off the ground, it's hard to know with just my rear here. So it's like, alright, she didn't back up further, but that's funny, you have to admit. Also did not drive through a garage door, or try to, one of my sisters is back in Missouri, I won't tell you which one. And anyway, she didn't drive through a garage door like most people would, forget to open the door and back out. No, she drove in the lane, oh, what's the one with the Woo, that's a good one. to it. We all did down the bandage. Good thing she's not here. Yeah, but sometimes when you're driving, there's like stuff that does happen that's kind of out of your control. Like this one time, this was at like a Friday night softball game. Like someone else went to get snacks. I was driving with someone else's car. I won't tell you whose because you might get a little concerned, but anyway, someone in here. And so we went to a quick shop. We parked like in the alley behind, went and got our stuff, came back out. So we started driving away. Then like, you know, driving down the alley to go, you know, so we're almost by the main road or whatever. Then like all of a sudden this big like redneck truck comes backing out. It's like an old Chevy. It's like jacked way up on like 35. It's like way high. And so I'm like, okay, well this looks a little scary. It's like backing out right at us. I better back up a little out of his way. So, you know how some cars have like the gear shift lever right in the middle, all on a straight road. You know, it's like, you know, park, reverse, neutral, drive, whatever, straight road. Well, this one didn't have that. It's more like you solved the maze to get to the gear. So I'm like looking at the truck, I'm like, if I would have looked down, it would have been easy, but I was like, ah! But it wasn't getting anywhere. Luckily right then, I heard some helpful advice in the back seat. Don't remember exact words, but I'll paraphrase. Basically, let's see how. Oh yeah, okay. It's like, very helpful, like I said. So anyways, I just honked loudly, and the truck kind of coasted to the stop. I don't know if it was because I honked or because we were on the alley already, but the like bumper was like right above ours, and had like a big trailer hitch like sticking out. It was like way up, like it was like above the hood. So it was a good thing it was jacked up, I guess. So, anyways, those are just a few of the fun incidents I've had while driving. And so, hope you guys enjoyed, and you guys were great. Thank you.